Oops. Yeah, my back is hurt. I like how I just like don't post for a month on YouTube. I've actually had a really busy month. I went to Japan with my siblings, very last minute trip, so random. It was really fun. We went to Tokyo and Kyoto and it was great. The 4 Abrahamson siblings, you know, traveling the world. And then I went to Mammoth with my friends. Did I snowboard? No. I'm not the best at snowboarding anyways, but I missed out on it because I hurt my back. Now that sounds really bad. And for a while, honestly, I thought it could be a very bad injury. Because when I was in Japan, I was in pain walking around. But the good news is that it's not as bad as I thought. The bad news is that I did it to myself. Okay, you guys are just, I'll sit on my bed, I guess. So I haven't run in 2 weeks. I feel like my fitness is completely gone. Obviously, because I have not run, nor have I worked out in 2 weeks. It's not even that I haven't run or worked out. It's like, I feel like I almost made the injury worse. So you may be like, what's your injury, Emma? I have really bad sciatica. The first time I ever noticed that I had a problem with sciatica was actually 2019 when I was training for the Chicago Marathon. I remember feeling like this really, really weird like numbness in this bottom half of my right leg, and I have never experienced that in my life ever, and I had no idea. And it was really hard to run on, but it wasn't like unbearable, so I still ran on it like quite often, and it wasn't that bad. The next time it flared up was 2020 when I was at altitude in Flagstaff training for triathlon, and I did a 4-hour trainer ride up there. And I just remember it being so bad after that, like to the point where I couldn't run because my whole leg was basically numb, and it's hard to explain, but it just makes it like really weak so that every time you step down it feels like you're collapsing on your leg, and it does not feel good. Now, you know, completely different stage of my life, many years later, 2023, and a couple weeks ago, probably like 3 weeks ago, I noticed that my back was starting to get a little tight again. Like, it wouldn't be debilitating, like I didn't really feel that numbness in my leg like I did in 2019, and I didn't really feel like I was collapsing in again on my leg like I did in 2020. I don't know, it didn't feel like that to start out with. It just like felt like more like tightness and tightness in my like right glute and back area, and I just kept running on it, and I just wasn't being that smart. Like I probably should have just taken more cross training days instead of running, but like I just did not want to cross train, and I almost feel like it was a little bit of self-sabotage because like what did I think was gonna happen, I guess, if I just kept running on this without addressing it. And so I just kept doing it time after time after time again. And I have this like bad habit of, you know, I go for a run somewhere and then I get in the car and just drive home, and that's without like stretching or doing anything, and that I think is just like the worst thing for this type of injury. There were a couple days where I just ran on, I got in the car and like just didn't stretch or do anything after that, so then it just became like a rock. I felt like my right back was just a rock, but it didn't hurt when I ran, and it wasn't like, it didn't feel like sciatica, honestly. It just felt like tightness in my back, and then it just kept like, I don't know, it just kept getting a little bit worse and worse and worse. And then I went to PT and they told me it was my sciatica, even though it felt a little bit different, but I kind of, you know, at that point I was like, maybe it is because it's like the same like area and stuff. So then I did a bunch of PT exercises, but then again, like I'm just like stupid. Like I probably should have just taken cross training days, but instead I decided to run at Run Club like later after my PT appointment because it felt a little bit better. Like with the stretches, you know, I was doing like all of these, which is like, it has a lot to do with like piriformis syndrome as well. So it's like you're stretching your like glute a lot. And so it was like manageable at that time, but again, I probably should have just taken some days off of running, but I didn't that day, and then it was just really bad after that. Like I was limping around for sure, and it was like debilitating, and I was like, all right. And it was kind of the same thing where it felt like a little bit of the shooting down the back of the leg, and I was like, this does not feel good, but it was like really bad limping because it was like pain. It was sharper pain than what I had experienced before. Like during the triathlon time, like I definitely remember there being pain as well, but it wasn't that bad. And there was a lot of like numbness with that one too, but 2019 was like all numbness. Anyways, this was like pain. So then 2 days later, I knew I was leaving for Japan, and you know, there's not that many cross training opportunities in Japan. Like I'm not gonna go like, I don't know, international travel. I didn't want to go have to try to find a pool. Like I was banking on like running while I was there. Anyways, so the day before we left, I was like, there's no way I can run today. Like, I'm just gonna take another day off, and then I'm gonna sit on the plane. Like, thank goodness it didn't hurt when I sat down, which is nice because a lot of the time, like, it can really hurt if you sit down for a while with sciatica, but it didn't. So then the day of my flight, again, I'm just hobbling around. Like, I am limping, and it's like relentless pain, basically. So there was no way I could run. And then biking, like, the position of, like, biking, it hurts the sciatic nerve, so you don't want to, like, bend down like this. So the only thing I could really do was swim, and there was not a pool in sight where we were, so I wasn't gonna be able to swim. So I just basically, you know, threw up my hands and I was like, all right, I'm not gonna work out for a week, whatever, when I'm in Japan. But when I tell you, like, this is when I think I made it a little bit worse, because I was just walking around all day while we were in Japan, obviously, because that's what you do, you like sightsee and stuff. So I was just like walking around all day, and it was so irritated. And I was limping around. Like, I remember we walked for like 20 minutes this one day, and it was like to the point where I was like, I don't think this is sciatica, actually. Like, it feels so bad, and like I wasn't getting that much relief from like the stretches. And a lot of the time in the past, like when I stretched out enough, like the sciatica would relieve a little bit, but I was getting no relief, and honestly it was getting worse. And so I was like, what is going on here? And then I started to get really nervous that I actually had like some other issue in my back. Like, I don't know, I was looking up a lot of like the symptoms of a lot of stuff. Part of me thought that it might be something like a sacral stress fracture, which would be so like out of, I don't think the right term is out of character, but like it wouldn't really make any sense for me to have a sacral stress fracture because I was not running enough. I've never had any bone problems ever. So yeah, like a lot of the symptoms that I was reading, like, you know, when you WebMD stuff and you just like, I don't know, self-diagnose yourself with stuff. Yeah, so I self-diagnosed myself with either sciatica or a sacral stress fracture. You know, there was no in between, or like a herniated disc. Whatever. Yeah, so either way, like I wasn't working out. Then I got back from Japan. Again, like I'm just hobbling around. I can't lift stuff because I feel like I'm just tweaking my back. Like I was in pain. It's not even the numbness. It was like I couldn't put any weight on my right side because it was just pain in this area of my body. Like the backside. And on Wednesday I was like, okay, maybe I try running today. Why did I do that? Like, what in my brain thought that was a good idea? Maybe it's just more self-sabotage. Like, I wanted to see my friends and I wanted to go to PB Run Club, so I just decided, like, let me just try it out. Because in the past, you know, if I had run on my sciatica back in like 2019 or whatever, it wouldn't really get worse. It just like kind of felt bad when I was running. Like I just felt numb, whatever, like I was collapsing in a little bit, but it didn't really hurt that bad. Again, I was in so much pain already though. I don't know why I thought it would be like that. So then I went to PB Run Club, super chill run. It's like 3 miles and we stopped like 5 times in the middle of it. Oh my goodness, you guys, like this is when I really like self-diagnosed myself with some sort of issue. Like these 2 days also in between when I was traveling, I was thinking about going and getting an MRI or something, or like meeting with my primary care doctor to go get an MRI because it just felt different and I was like, something's going on in there. I don't know. But then especially when I was running at PB Run Club, you guys, like I don't even know how to describe the pain because I've never broken a bone ever, but it truly felt like I was running on a fractured like hip or back. Like it hurt so bad. Like, and I'm not really that much of a wussy, especially when it comes to injuries. Like, I don't know, I feel like I can handle a lot of pain a lot of the time, but oh my gosh, every time I stepped down, especially after we stopped and then we started running again, oh, like the pain was so bad. I almost went home, like I almost like beelined it home. But then I was like, I guess I'll just finish the run. Just like so much stiffness after I finished. So I just knew that I injured myself even more. Anyways, but the next day I was going to Mammoth with my friends. I wasn't snowboarding. There was no chance I was snowboarding this time because obviously if I had fallen, because I didn't know what it was at the time, and I was scared that if it was like a fracture or something, that if I fell, I would like absolutely shatter my butt area. So I was not snowboarding, whatever, went there, again, limping around, but it was like fun. I didn't exercise when I was there at all, and I knew I had a PT appointment right when I came back. So basically I was just been stalling and waiting for that to happen before I went to go see my doctor, whatever, just to see before I like pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars to go get an MRI. Let me go to PT first to see what they think. So yeah, like 2 weeks has now gone by and I feel like I almost made it worse because obviously I went to Japan and flared it up a lot, and then going to Mammoth doesn't certainly help really the situation either, like still walking around and having fun with my friends, but I don't know, at this point I thought I was already kind of screwed. This Tuesday, I got back on Monday from Mammoth. Tuesday I had PT. I went into PT like this because it had been 2 weeks right before I left for Japan. I hadn't really talked to them either, like telling them that it's bad, which again, stupid, but I was gone out of the country. So I walk into PT and I'm like, oh, something's really wrong, you guys. So the people at Prehab, the place I go to in San Diego, highly recommend if you're in San Diego to go to Prehab, they're the best. And I was like, okay, something's wrong and it doesn't really feel like sciatica anymore and I am scared. So they take me through all these tests, whatever, to try to figure out what it is. The first thing I wanted to rule out was the stress fracture, or like confirm or deny, because that's what was in my head because of that PB Run Club run and how bad it felt. So they did a bunch of tests. I don't have a stress fracture. So, EA to dab on them. Which makes sense because I don't know how I would have gotten a stress fracture in that short amount of time, and I've never had bone problems in my life. It was just my little WebMD brain now that was scared of that. The consensus that we came to is that it is my sciatica. It's still my sciatica. It's just a worse version of it that has like shown up in a different way than it has in the past. And I also might have like a minor glute strain. I think it's just all due to my sciatica though, because I feel like I'm just compensating and I'm limping. Like, it's just not a good look, you know? It's not the worst injury in the world because I feel like it can kind of go away fast if you like do the correct things and don't travel to Japan on it and walk like 30,000 steps a day. I have my sciatica exercises that I'm doing, some little nerve glides that we're working with, and I'm not gonna run for another week at least. I'm gonna do all my exercises every day, and I'm gonna be swimming because biking kind of hurts it. Yeah, it's just like a very, very annoying injury because like it is overuse, I guess, but it's kind of just like me being stupid and I guess just like really not stretching enough. And I really think I need to like go to yoga regularly. I think that's why people, you know, when they hit 26 plus, they're starting to go to yoga. Because I see why. Like, I didn't really think that I would ever have back problems. I don't know why, I just thought I was immune, but clearly it's a reoccurring issue and I like need to keep it in check because it keeps coming back. And I don't know why I just thought it wouldn't come back this time. I think I was just like, thought that, you know, my sciatica era was over because it had been a long time since it flared up. Yeah, I mean, I will say like I'm like pretty frustrated with it right now because it's not necessarily getting better, even though I have been doing like the exercises and stuff and I haven't been running. I don't know, but then also like sciatica doesn't really get better with bed rest, so I can't just like lay in bed. It almost makes it worse because then your back gets stiffer. So it's like you want to move around, but it's like you can't move around too much because then I'm in pain and then it hurts and then I feel like I'm hurting it more. Like, it's a very odd injury. I almost feel like it hasn't really gotten that much better. I think it's easier to walk on now because I'm not walking 30,000 steps a day, so it's like I'm not flaring it up that much. And today is my first day back. I'm about to go swim. As you can see, I've got my swim bag on, and we'll see if that helps. Like, I feel like that movement could like help loosen up my back a bit, and I feel good enough now to where I can go exercise because the past like couple weeks, there was no way I was even gonna be able to go swim because I feel like pushing off a wall would hurt that badly. And like even just moving my back, like sometimes when I'm rolling around in bed at night, you know, just as everyone does, toss and turn, it hurts so bad and like wakes me up. So there's no way I was gonna be exercising during that flare-up period, but I feel like it's good enough now where I can. And then today, like, I got a couple recommendations on Instagram and people told me to go do acupuncture, which scares me. I've never done acupuncture ever, but multiple people have told me that it like really is the only thing that helps cure their sciatica. So I'm like kind of excited because I just want relief now. Like, I'm just like really tired of being in pain. Like, it hurts every day, like almost every motion, like every time I stand up, every time I walk around, like, and I'm not really getting that much relief. So I'm just hoping that acupuncture like helps a little bit where I just like can at least like roll around in my bed and not feel pain. Like, that would be great. Anyways, I've sat here for 20 minutes and just rambled to the camera, but I'm like so sad because the Carlsbad 5000 is like 5 weeks away, and now that I haven't run for 2 weeks or even exercised for 2 weeks, like I just don't see how I would want to go race the 5K in 5 weeks. Like, even running, like sprinting or like doing a workout within the next couple weeks like sounds just bad because of how like I feel in my back. So I don't even want to put the pressure on myself to run that 5K. You know, it's not the end of the world. There's like always another race. I just feel like stupid because I don't know. I just feel like I thought I was kind of like immune, which I don't know why I would think I was immune because I've had this problem before, but like I'm just not a very injury prone person. Like I said, like I want to knock on wood, but like, I don't know. I feel like I take care of myself generally. Like, and I feel like I'm pretty in tune with my body. I think I just made some mistakes, which I just feel kind of dumb for doing because now I like have to explain to everyone that I'm hurt my back. And it's like just funny because I don't know. I always joke about like how I just don't like to stretch and foam roll, and it's like, okay, when will I get it through my little head that it's like, okay, maybe I need to do more of it, you know? I will say I have done a better job like this time around of stretching and foam rolling and stuff and doing my little exercises, but I just think like I just cannot get in my car immediately after running. Like I think I just need to be way more proactive with the stretching. And it's not that hard. I'm just like lazy. I'm just like way too optimistic. And I like to live in delusion that I'm not gonna hurt myself because it's kind of worked out in the past like that, but it doesn't really do that anymore. I'm too old. Anyways, it's not the end of the world. Like I'm not the most bummed I've ever been because there's always another start line. And like, that's what I want to tell people, you know, when you get injured, like, especially when you're after college and stuff, there's so many start lines that you can choose from. And I want to say that I'm like super bummed. I feel like I should be saying that I'm like super bummed and I'm like, oh my gosh, like how could this happen? Like how am I going to go on? But like, I've really been fine. I will say I feel like I've had a little bit of a crisis because I'm just like embarrassed more than anything that I have to share this with the world after just like joking about everything. But you know, stuff happens. Like I'm still really motivated to run and stuff, hence why I'm like still going and swimming, because I feel like, I don't know, if I didn't really care, I wouldn't be going and cross training, but like I genuinely want to cross train. I really want to keep up like some sort of fitness over these next couple weeks or whatever until I start running again, because I don't want just that brutal week 1 that I had a couple months ago. Like I just don't want to replay that. Like I said, I don't want any more day ones. No more day ones. This is a really, really long update video, but I don't know, like running is supposed to be fun. I don't want to stress myself out over this because it is like a little blip in the road, and I wish that this like first race back was like a seamless training cycle. But I think it was a reality check for me that I like genuinely need to stop being stupid, and it humbles me, you know? Maybe I needed a little bit of a humbling. And it's not the end of the world, you know, I'll be back. It's not like the worst injury. It's not a career-ending injury. It's just something I need to address and like be more mindful of in the future. No, there's no like tears on my end. It's just, oh, what did you think was gonna happen when you just keep running on your really, really, really tight back and not stretching before you get into the car after your runs? So I also want to say that like a time period of being injured, I think is just a really good opportunity to like focus on other areas of your life too. Like for me, I couldn't even cross train for a while, so I wasn't even thinking about working out the last 2 weeks, and I've been working on other like parts of my life and my job. Like obviously going to Japan and traveling with my siblings was fun. Hanging out with my friends in Mammoth was like fun, a good, you know, social time in my life. I will say I was in pain the whole time, so that was like, you know, constant reminder of me being in pain. Was not that fun. But also I've been working on this new project that I'm doing. Part of my job that I love is like I can just kind of work on whatever I want, like whatever I'm most interested in at the time, and just adapt to my own like creativity. And I also really like to get out of my comfort zone. So I feel like I've been on cruise control for a while in terms of like my career stuff, and it's fun to try something new. And so I'm like working on something cool, which I'm excited to share more about like down the road. I'm sure a lot of people can like guess what it is. I've actually talked about it on Instagram already, so I guess I'll share it here. I'm making racing singlets. Doing merchandise, especially by yourself, is like this whole other like category of business. Sourcing them, doing the designs, like custom colors and stuff. So it's just like a whole different ballgame, and it's honestly really overwhelming and something I've kind of put off for a while because it's just kind of overwhelming. But actually like going through with the process of everything and like sitting down and figure out how to do it and stuff has been really, really fun. So I am really excited for it. Wherever that ends up going, like with singlets, maybe other pieces and stuff, I'm excited to one, have you guys like see it and wear the singlets if you would like, and I don't know, just like something that's out of my comfort zone, and it's something that's just different than what I've been doing for the past couple of years. It's nice for me to just focus on something like completely new during this time period because it keeps things exciting and it keeps me excited for my job, and it's not me just like sharing on the internet that I'm injured, you know? I like having like a business element to it, especially since I put like the food stuff on hold. I've been kind of trying to find like another creative outlet. Like One Crazed Foodie was my creative stuff, like making recipes all the time. I really enjoyed doing that for a while, but like the food stuff is just kind of, I don't want to say over it because like obviously I still love food. I just am not passionate about making recipes anymore. So I had a conversation with myself that I needed to stop doing that for my own mental sanity. And it's been really fun to do like the merchandise side of things because it's so creative and you have so much like the world is your oyster, kind of like, you know, a recipe or something. And yeah, it's just fun to tap into. So I'm excited for you guys to see them because I think it'll be fun and, you know, have people rocking the merch. And yeah, I just want them to be like cool, unique pieces. Yeah, I feel like cool, like I'm like a fashion designer. Meanwhile, I'm like sitting here in my swimsuit and like my literal sweatpants. So everyone take fashion advice from me. The whole process of me getting back into running and training and racing and everything is just for me. So I'm like, there's really no pressure on myself. There's no money involved with all of this. I'm not like signed to a pro contract. I don't have a pro racing schedule. There's nothing other than like me enjoying it. So right now I'm gonna enjoy the process of being humbled and swimming and going to PT and acupuncture, which scares me because I've never done it. But I guess, yeah, I'll take you guys along on the journey. I'm just sorry that I haven't really been good at updating you guys because I've just like been in a weird place and I just didn't really know what it was, and I didn't want to be like scaring everyone that I'm like, I have a sacral stress fracture, when in reality I don't. So yeah, hope everyone's doing well, at least better than me. Hopefully, if you have sciatica issues, I hope that we get it resolved soon, together. We're in this together. Anyways, I'm gonna start vlogging again too. I'm sorry, I've been MIA, but this is just like a sit down video because I felt like I needed to update everyone because I've been gone for 1 month. Okay, I'm gonna go swim. Peace out, bellas. Maybe I'll vlog today too, like my little acupuncture journey. Bye.